Welcome to my dad's car. Enjoy!
Welcome to My Dad's Car, a podcast discussing our personal relationship with automotive nostalgia. And you know what? It doesn't even have to be about your dad's car. It can be your mum's, your grand's, your parents', guardians, or even a neighbour's. If it made an impression, let's talk about it. Hello, sir.
Hello.
You right?
Yeah, too bad. Sorry I was a bit late.
That's all right. Needs must. Lunch and that.
Yeah. So you had a good journey back?
Yeah, not too bad. I had an interesting moment. I think it was the M40. I was driving back and the traffic kind of came to a bit of a standstill. I was in the fast lane and I put my hazards on, but my hazard light kind of pushed into the dashboard a little bit.
Oh, no.
So as I pressed it, you press the bottom of the switch to turn it on, and the bottom of the switch was still clipped in, so you could turn it on. But when you push your finger in to turn it off, obviously it then pushes the switch further out into the dashboard.
Oh, no.
And you've got nothing to push it back in again. So I had to perform one fingered sort of open heart keyhole surgery.
Oh, God.
To not only turn the switch off, but sort of pull it back again.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say you had to drive home with hazards on the whole way or something like that.
Well, at one point, I was kind of thinking it's going to be a case of I'm going to have to go onto the hard shoulder or pull over at some point to turn this off.
Yeah.
But not quite sure how I was going to do such a thing. But just fashioned up some sort of bracketry to hold it in place, and it seems to have done the trick.
Good.
That's the wonders of taking the Monday off after the show.
Yeah, exactly.
You got back all right?
Yeah, well, yeah, eventually. First two trains were cancelled for some reason. So, it's about sort of 45-minute wait at the station there before I could get going. So then I was starting to get a bit sort of concerned about how busy the train would be when it eventually arrived, given that two had been cancelled.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Play sardines on the way home.
Yeah, and I was thinking, this platform's going to start getting busy, but to be honest, it wasn't too bad.
Could have bought one of those little pop-up seats you saw. You made a joke about for the train.
Yeah, would have been ideal, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was definitely, the carriage that I got into, someone had definitely been sick somewhere in that carriage.
Oh, really?
You know, when that smell just comes over you. Yeah.
Oh. And you can't open windows, can you, these days on trains? So
No. Did have quite a useful blind on my window, though, which I didn't realise
really?
trains had. Yeah, you know, like you get in an aircraft, quite a big one. Because I was watching something on my phone and the sun was being quite annoying.
Yeah.
I suddenly thought, there's a nice little blind there.
Have a bit of that.
Yeah.
So, we're back from the NEC Classic Car Show, where we spent 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite a nice weekend, wasn't it?
Very nice, yeah.
Not often phrases kind of associated with Birmingham. It was a fairly pleasant trip.
I want to offend our Black Country-based support.
Indeed, yeah. It did what it needed to do. It held a massive car show.
Yeah. No, it was really good. Spoke to lots of interesting people, didn't we, as usual, and definitely worth the trip.
Yeah, met up with a few people we'd had on as guests. We saw Sam, didn't we, from what's her company? Southern Cars?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
That's it.
So yeah, we saw her. She kindly came along and watched some of our performance on Saturday. Matt from the Tire Kickers was there.
Yeah.
So we saw him. Yeah, caught up with a few other people. Saw Paul Cowland, who one day we will get him pinned down and we'll record him.
I think we need a big hammer and some nails to pin Paul down, don't we?
Yeah. Bit like Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah.
Just on the floor of the NEC. He's a busy man. It's not his fault.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
One day we will have this conversation. What else did we get up to? Yeah, we ran around, didn't we? We recorded probably 20 or 30 little audio clips. People giving us their earliest car memories. So some nice stuff there. We'll play that in a minute. So if you've tuned in to listen either to yourself or just to see what crazy stories we've managed to uncover, we will share those with you shortly.
Yeah, thanks to everyone that took part in that because quite a lot of people do run away, don't they, when they see the microphone?
Yeah.
I think on Sunday as well, people were less inclined to run because they were so tired from having done sort of 2 or 3 days already. So.
Or they'd had a few shandies the night before, glasses of wine.
Yeah, exactly. Birmingham Casino.
So yeah, the podcast studio I think was a really great addition to the show, to be honest. I think there's obviously quite a lot of automotive content available as podcasts, so it was a nice little platform for those of us who sort of squirrel away making these things. Yeah, obviously we've not got the profile of your Mike Brewers or your Auto Alexes, etc. But yeah, it was nice to be able to share what we get up to, invite some people to join in, and yeah, I think that was really good. What do you think your favourite thing of the weekend was, John? Favourite thing you saw?
I think, yeah, doing both of the recordings probably.
Yeah.
Because we've never done that before, have we? A live recording.
No, we did. Obviously, we recorded Danny, didn't we? But in his garage, we didn't have any sort of audience there. So
Yeah, so it's very much a first for us, but it's a good experience. Yeah, it was nice to sort of just do the usuals, like speaking to various people like we did on Sunday and Saturday, just getting those little 30-second, 60-second clips.
yeah,
I think it's always nice as well that when people discover what we're doing for the first time, they always seem to kind of embrace it, don't they? And say, oh, that's a great idea. And you can see it unlocking memories as you start speaking to them. So it kind of makes it all worthwhile, I suppose.
yeah, it's nice, isn't it, to get that almost visual feedback straight away when people kind of start understanding the concept and kind of feel that, yeah, they've joined in. So let's play some clips from the show, John, and we'll come back to you in a minute after we've played these.
Sounds good.
We're with David from the Marcus Owners Club. David, what's your earliest car memory?
My earliest car memory was a 1957 Morris Minor, which my father bought for £50. It didn't work, and he said, if you want a car, that one needs a clutch. If you can fix it, you can have it.
And did you fix the clutch?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Hi, my name's Adam Gompertz. I'm known as the Rev. My earliest car memory is my dad's digestive biscuit-coloured Ford Escort 1.3 Estate, which seemed massive to a little kid when I was that small. But I have many memories of travelling around and bouncing around in the back of that.
Hi, I'm Helen. So my earliest memory of any kind of cars is actually a memory of a tractor, because I used to live in a farm in Estonia.
Whose tractor was it?
It was actually my grandfather's.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, we're at PWR, Advanced Cooling, and we're with James. James, what's your earliest car memory?
It's a Porsche 928 S4 manual, which I was in Niagara Falls with my mum, saw it just on the side of the road, white, fallen in love, and I've actually spoken to the guy over there about his, see if I can buy the Guards red one.
That's pretty awesome.
But he won't sell it to me, so it's not very awesome really, is it? Bit disappointed. Had a little tear in my eye.
But it's on your hit list, you want one?
Absolutely. If I could find a really nice one, which is difficult, I'd definitely have one.
A manual as well?
Has to be manual. Yeah, the autos, I'm old, but I'm not that old.
Thank you very much.
I'm Sam from Sam's Detailing, and my earliest car memory is a red Porsche 993 that I saw at the NEC Motor Show.
Fantastic. How old were you, do you reckon, that sort of age?
I'm pretty sure that was like 1996, 1997, something like that.
Fantastic. And who did you go to the show with?
My dad and my brother, and I distinctively remember because there's a picture of me in front of the car with my brother, and we're wearing matching outfits.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Good morning, my name's Yaska. I'm here on behalf of Matt Millen. We're very grateful to be here. It's been a wonderful show. You guys are amazing. My earliest car memories, I think it was a Ford of some sort.
Whose was it?
It was my mum and dad's. It was white.
Thank you very much. We're with Steve from Auto Legends. Steve, what's your earliest car memory?
Probably my dad's company car. This probably showed my age now, but I remember he had a Dolomite as a company car, a green one, and we used to drive past the actual factory in Coventry, and that was the first thing I remember until we said this car was made there, and that's why I kind of remember that.
Thank you very much, Steve.
We're at Project J Preservation Group. What's your earliest car memory?
My earliest car memory is a orange Talbot Avenger that my mum and dad used to have. I was probably about 4 or 5 at the time.
Fantastic.
We've landed at Paul Howe's Art. And Paul, what's your earliest car memory?
I reckon it's probably my mum's Hillman Imp that she had as her first car, like as a family car when we were little. Yeah, that and the 1.3 DX Datsun Sunny as well. So yeah.
Fantastic. Crazy to think that the Hillman Imp was a family car, isn't it?
Yeah, they're brilliant. And then I had one as my first car, so it kind of it ran in the family.
Thank you very much, Paul. Here we are at the MG Owners Club, and we've found Debbie. Debbie, what's your earliest car memory?
A red convertible Mercedes rattling around the back of it, and my dad telling me I've got to keep out of it.
Fantastic. Was he taking you out for a drive, or you're just at home? Or
Playing on the drive in it.
Thank you very much.
we've got Nick here at the NEC. Nick, would you like to tell us your earliest car memory, please?
So, yeah, it's a little bit of an interesting story. So, my dad was a bit of a petrol head, and it's probably where I get it from, but he was visiting my mother, who was actually in hospital having given birth to me, and in his Escort Mexico, and somebody in a Mini Cooper coming the other way lost it and sideswiped him on a corner. So that car sat on our driveway rotting away, and I can remember that was a 4 or 5 year old still there, slowly ebbing away into a pile of dust, unfortunately. So that is not the happiest car story, but
partially your fault there.
Partially my fault, yeah.
It's a good story. Thanks, Nick. Cheers. Okay, we've got John from the Alfa Romeo Owners Club. John, what's your earliest car memory?
I can distinctly remember being in my dad's Standard 8, would you believe it, as a tiny child, sat in a metal chair holding a steering wheel as we drove from Leicester to South Wales. And I am told that I drove every single mile steering and with a little plastic gear stick.
Brilliant. Fantastic. That's great. Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're at the Morris Marina Owners Club, and we found Matt. Matt, what's your earliest car memory?
So, I guess kind of feeds into why I'm standing here behind the desk on the Marina Owners Club stand. Before I came along, my dad had a Sherpa van and decided that wasn't the most practical thing for carting small children around in, so he chopped it in for a Morris Ital estate. So I could just about remember being piled in the back of said Morris Ital estate with the family dog, and driven down to my grandparents in London, little 1300 Ital that was thrashed down the M4 mercilessly, and back again. And then later on, when it got a bit too rusty to stay on the road, it was abandoned at the bottom of the drive and replaced by a Montego, and I can remember sitting in it and pretending to drive it as a sort of 4 or 5 year old. And I can also remember the rust hole in the wing that you could put your hand through. Even an adult, not just a small child. It was probably a bit of a health hazard, really, having it parked there, you know. But I survived, and I say, sort of memories of that car, and sort of is what inspired me to buy one, actually. And they're not as bad as they're made out to be.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Hi, I'm Tim, known as Tim. I'm at Classic Motor Show editing videos this weekend, and I've been asked what is my earliest car memory. One of my earliest car memories is my mum's Mark III Astra. It was gold, I think, or it might have been grey, and she had an aftermarket immobiliser fitted to it. It cut out on a roundabout. She loved that car. It was like a tank. It didn't have power steering, but I was sat there, little young kid in the 90s. It cut out on a roundabout, wouldn't start again because the immobiliser wouldn't start, and she sold it and bought the then new Corsa B in purple. And I was furious. I said, I really like that Mark III Astra.
Fantastic. We've found Steve here. Steve, whereabouts are you from? What's your business?
So I'm Man Cavar, I'm from Gosport in Hampshire, and I do fronts and rears of cars, just really memories of our pastimes and our childhood.
Right up our street. What's your earliest car memory?
So my earliest car memory was when I was 5 years old, lived in Singapore. My father used to race an AC Ace.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. He was in the Navy, so we had cars all around us all the time. He used to auto sport a MG Midget and auto test a Zephyr.
Fantastic. That's really cool. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, I'm Charles Freestone. I run a company doing graphic design, mug mats, wall art, 3D designs and so on.
And what's your earliest car memory?
I think my earliest car memory, my mum had a Lancia Beta Spider. And my dad had a Triumph Stag. I remember the number plate was TWM1K, and we always said, because we lived near Kettering and my mum's name was Mary, and we always said TWM1K meant trouble with Mary in Kettering. So we remember that car. Mum had a Dolomite Sprint. She had XR3s, one after the other. So at an early age, I was driving cars that were really nice in their day, in the 80s.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Okay, we've got Rick from Fixate. Rick, what's your earliest car memory, please?
My earliest car memory is when my mother, in my dad's classic Cortina, when I was a child, it was a 2-door Cortina, really long doors, and I leant on the door and fell out of the car. My mother didn't even notice I'd fallen out of it until she got to the destination, turned around and realised I wasn't there. My memory is looking up at a tree and I'm pretty sure it was raining at the same time. So that's my earliest memory of.
Fantastic. Quite a harrowing story.
It was,
Where was your mum travelling to, if you don't mind me asking?
The other end of the village, so it wasn't too far, but it was still far enough for a small child to be slightly worried.
Fantastic. Thanks very much.
We're here with Steve. Steve, tell us where you're from and what's your earliest car memory?
I'm Steve, working for Hamilton Classic. My earliest car memories, my dad had a Mark II Granada. I remember that one when I was younger, and a Austin Allegro or something like that. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So, we've popped by and found some lovely photographs here. Lou, and I won't pronounce your surname, you can do that for you, sir.
Lou Boileau.
Boileau. Wonderful. What's your earliest car memory, Lou?
My earliest car memory is my grandfather gave me, when he passed away or left me, his Morris Minor Traveller with the wooden panels down the side. And, happy days. Unfortunately, I was only 14, so I had to keep it for a couple of years before I could drive it. Yeah, but I kept it for 5 years. It was just beautiful. I wish I'd never got rid of it. Beautiful.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
No worries. Take care now.
So we're here with John Staveley at the Bugatti Owners Club. Tell us, John, what's your earliest car memory?
My father had an 1172 upright Ford Anglia, and that's the earliest car I can remember as a small child, and it was interesting.
What colour was it?
A very dark colour. I can't remember exactly, but it might have been black, but I don't think so. I think it was probably a dark grey.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
My name is Joel Clark. I am the artist behind Speed Icons, the automotive art collection. And I guess my very early memory of what got me into cars would have been my dad's Mark I V6 Capri, for which you couldn't really think of a better car, sort of late 70s, which he got slightly customised a little bit. The wolf races, the side pipes, rear blinds on the window, and so on. Black bonnet, of course, bumperless. So from then on, I was like, cars, classic cars, modifying cars a little bit, and I was hooked. Simple as that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jay. Okay, we found Ian here. He does something with gears. What company are you from, Ian?
It's Neve Engineering, family company.
Wonderful. And what's your earliest car memory?
My earliest car memory is my father's Maxi, 1500cc, because he always wanted the 1750cc.
And what colour was it?
Purple.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much. We're with Julian from Classico, competition and collector cars.
Hello.
How you doing? What's your earliest car memory, Julian?
My earliest car memory is my grandfather's Jaguar XJ6 back in Dublin in the 1970s.
Okay, cool. Tell us about it. What colour?
Well, he had two. He had the silver one from 1969 and the green one from 1972. He wanted to trade in the silver one. They gave him so little that he decided to keep both cars.
And you go for a ride with him in it?
Oh, yeah. When we would visit from Holland, because I'm a Dutchman, he would take us out in the car. And as a little boy, I was allowed to sit on that centre console to get a better view of the walnut dash. So, yeah, that was always fantastic to sit there and see the car, hear the engine. Fond memories of the big Jags.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
So I'm James from the SV Club and MG Car Club Young Members. My first memory of my dad's first car was a green L-registered Rover 600 with a beige velour interior. Lovely. And after that car, he got another Rover 600, so it was a company car at the time. I remember going to the seaside in it, basically, and that's probably about all I remember, apart from it rusted, actually.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. We're at the Daimler 250 Owners Club with Chris. Chris, what's your earliest car memory?
It was my granddad's Triumph Herald, the one I remembered.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about it.
Well, if I remember rightly, it was grey with a white stripe down the side. But the interesting thing was he had PVC covers on the seats for the whole of its ownership. Unfortunately, some idiot went and wrote it off for him, and he was gutted.
Okay, we've got John from the Mercedes-Benz Club. John, what's your earliest car memory?
My earliest car memory as a child driving around was a friend of mine's mother who had a Vitesse 1600, which was the most gorgeous sounding six-cylinder car I've ever been in. As a child, my father always had a Volkswagen Beetle, which was really noisy old air-cooled thing. So this Vitesse was like a wonder from a different world. Alas, I have never owned a Vitesse. I've taken the engine out of that particular car a number of times in the later years.
Fantastic. Thank you, John. That's great.
Okay, we're here with Jan from the BMW Car Club. What's your earliest car memory, Jan?
It was my dad's Ford Capri, silver with a nice black vinyl roof.
Lovely. And who was travelling in it?
Me, my mum, my dad and my sister. We went up to Scotland once and we put a boat on the top of it as well, a small boat. So that was a bit different for a Capri.
A boat on the roof of a Capri. That's a first. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Jan. We are joined by Gus Brooks. Gus Brooks, where are we and what is your earliest car memory?
We are the enthusiasts of British motor vehicles, actually built before 1985.
Very specific. That's a long sticker. Okay, what's your earliest car memory?
My earliest car memory, good grief. What my father always told me he had was an SS100 Jaguar, which he actually swapped for a Moggy Minor, and I've never forgiven him for it.
Would you get one?
If I had £100 or a couple £100,000 spare, then yeah, for sure.
And would they let you in the club with the long name?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
We found Ian at the Vintage Sports Car Club. Ian, what's your earliest car memory?
Would you believe it's a Ford Anglia that my father used to own that he wrote off because of me?
Oh?
Oh. As a child and still as an adult, I don't sleep. My father, going to work one morning, drove his car straight into a bus, wrote the car off and didn't do the bus much good either.
Because you were asleep or not asleep?
No, he fell asleep driving to work because I'd kept him awake all night.
Oh no, oh no. He was all right though?
He was fine, yes.
Wonderful. No fathers or bus passengers were hurt making this story?
No, just a written off Ford Anglia.
Thank you very much, Ian. We're joined by Jason, and we're sort of in a Nigel Mansell paradise here. How are you doing, Jason? What's the company name?
Yeah, Signature Store, so www.thesignaturesstore.co.uk.
And what's your earliest car memory?
Well, basically, my first car I ever drove was a Renault 4 van with the funny gunnel coming out the dashboard.
Yeah.
And also one of the other cars that I can remember driving as about a 6-7-year-old was a BMW 3-litre SI. But not the Alpina version.
You drove a BMW 3-litre SI at 6 or 7 years old?
Yeah, yep, no, for sure.
And whose car was it?
Oh, my dad's.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I'm Jeff Love and I'm the MD of Hot House Publishing, so we publish Octane Magazine and Magneto.
Great, thanks, Jeff. So what is your earliest car memory?
Well, I think my father was a used car dealer, so he was always bringing back quite a lot of actually British Leyland trash, to be honest, in the 70s and the early 80s. But my earliest memory was, and probably one of my favourite cars that he used to bring home was he had a Triumph Dolomite Sprint, and that was an awful lot of fun actually. It was one of the few cars from that era, and certainly from that manufacturer, which was enjoyable to drive and a lot of fun.
Great. What colour was it?
It was a yellow.
Excellent.
It really stood out, and it was a great car.
Fantastic.
My name's Carl. I've worked for Rimmer Bros now for far too long. Dad's actually worked for Rimmer's 30 plus years. It's very much a family affair, that sort of background. And obviously for that reason my earliest memory is Dad's Triumph Stag. 1976, Wedgwood Blue. Before him it was owned by a doctor, and sadly it caught fire, and just there's pictures of this poor doctor at the side of the road sobbing his eyes out at the sight of his Stag on fire. But Dad bought it cheap through Rimmers, and I was about 8, maybe 9 years old, I think, rebuilding it in the garage. Obviously I pressed the pedals, do the buttons and all of that nonsense. And yeah, my earliest memory, not pictures, up here, down a back country lane at night, Van Morrison, Brown Eyed Girl on the radio, blaring, just cruising, V8 Burble. If I close my eyes I can still see it, and yeah, I've been stuck with Triumphs ever since. There's now 9 in the family, and we won't stop buying them. It's ridiculous. So I'm here today on the TR Youth stand exhibiting my 1978 Triumph Spitfire. I bought that 5 weeks ago, and I've been just tooth and nail nights, any opportunity I get, putting it back on the road, and just a massive sense of achievement to take it from wreck to slightly less wreck and here.
Fantastic. So yeah, that was the best part of 20 or so clips from around the NEC on Saturday and Sunday at the Classic Car Show.
Some crackers in there. Any favourites, Andy?
There's a few, really. There's one chap who his dad had an accident in a Mark 1 Mexico Escort, then left it on the driveway, which then, sadly, that turned to dust. Any from you?
Boy falling out of car is my favourite.
Oh, yeah, falling out of the Cortina. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? When you when we start talking to people about these, and then just those little memories which actually otherwise would just sort of remain in someone's head, but we've had the pleasure of being able to sort of unearth them and share them with people.
Yeah, it's funny when you ask the question and they kind of look a bit blank, don't they? And then they go, "Oh, actually, no, I've got something really good." Yeah,
yeah. The cogs start where we still kind of fall into the like, what's the first car someone bought?
Yeah,
and I'm sure that, there was a couple in there where people kind of give us things from when they were in their teens. You're like, there must be another memory beyond that, but
I suppose that it's easily done, though, isn't it? When you think of first car memory. Maybe people will interpret it as your first car memory. Yeah.
Yeah, either way, some good stories there. So, thank you to anyone who did give us sort of 30, 60 seconds of their time.
Absolutely.
Put up with us putting a microphone in their face. Some thanks to Anna and Phil, who joined us as guests in the podcast lounge.
Yeah.
And we'll put their episodes out as separate standalone episodes. Thank you to the organisers for putting on really good show.
Thanks to Steve.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks to Steve at Also Legends, who very nicely looked after our stuff just a stone's throw from the podcast lounge.
He also gave me 2 very nice snack bars over the course of the weekend, which I'm forever grateful for. He knows it as well.
So, wonderful. Thank you very much, John. It was an enjoyable weekend. Good fun.
Pleasure.
And, we'll look forward to next year. Hopefully do a few more events.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, you too. Speak soon.
Yeah, indeed. Take it easy. Roll the credits.
Thank you for listening to My Dad's Car. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please support us. Buy us a coffee and subscribe. And tell all your friends.